welcome, Lords of Metal fans. We're here in Canada. You're over there in the Netherlands. But we have a fucking legend right here, right next to me. As we promised, the mighty Max fucking Cavalera. Max, how's it going?
Thanks, brother. Good to be here, man.
Good, thank you. Actually, it was 1990 was the last time that you were supposed to come through London, Ontario. I don't know if you remember this, but it was on the Beneath the Remains tour, and you guys were touring with Obituary and Sadist at the time.
Okay.
And London was one of the stops, but you guys didn't end up making it. I think it was the only show in Canada you didn't make it. I think you had troubles at the border or getting here in time. You did Toronto, I believe, the next night, but London was supposed to get you. Unfortunately,
Didn't happen.
Yeah, I remember being like a 16-year-old kid and was just fell in love with Beneath the Remains and got to the show. There was no internet, so of course, there was no like cancellation notice.
Yeah.
So get there waiting
bad.
and fuck.
That was the SOS tour too.
Yeah.
We call it SOS because it's Sadist Obituary.
Oh yeah.
Tour.
The SOS tour.
SOS. Yeah. Help! We need help.
You needed help getting into the country, apparently.
Doing a show in London. You know,
yeah.
but
So that was the last time I was supposed to see you here. I don't think you've been back here since until today. Yeah.
Today
So I'm glad you made it. Thanks for.
we're here finally, and it's gonna be a great show. Nailbomb it's a great record to play live. Just translates amazing live, and the shows have been great. And I was like sold out, ready to close. And
I heard you
packed.
like you had a bunch of smaller venues booked, but you ended up selling them out and moving to some bigger ones as well.
It happened like I think twice on the tour,
Nice. Yeah.
and the other one stayed the same. It was small but great. You know, like you have 200, 300 people on a little club. It's like Nailbomb perfect, man. You know, because it's the vibe. You know, it's like the punk metal vibe that people love it. You know, the closeness. Sometimes no barricade. Sometimes like. No drum riser, your eye level with your crowd and touching them and stuff, So
you don't get that much.
Tonight's a little, bigger, it's a bigger place.
Yeah.
Should be cool, I'm excited. The show itself is great because we played the whole record. And we're playing right now While You Sleep I Destroy a World from the live record.
Awesome.
Which is great. We did a new version of it. It's killer. Mark do some wicked guitar stuff on it.
Did you end up doing that one at Dynamo as well?
No.
No? Okay. Yeah.
We are playing a lot of stuff we didn't play at the Dynamo. 24-hour bullshit.
Yeah.
We didn't play. For fuck's sake. I don't know why we didn't play those at Dynamo. Like, it's a good question.
Yeah. Yeah.
You gotta go back in time and try to remember why didn't we play that. But we are playing now, so it's full on. It's great.
So is it start to finish then, pretty much, or is it?
Pretty much. I mean, like While You Sleep, it's stuck in the end. Towards the end is after Shit Pinata, which is just noise, electronics.
Yeah.
Couple nights, last night and the night before, we did Refuse Resist and Eye for an Eye for the fans because they really wanted more. So we end up playing a little more for them.
That's fucking awesome.
Hopefully we do it tonight too.
So if they shout at the end of the set,
if they shout, we'll do it more.
Awesome.
We play more, so it's up to them.
I might go around and tell everyone.
Tell everybody that. The secret is out.
Yep. So the last 4 months of my life, I just want to say, have been dominated by the name Cavalera. I mean, we had the awesome album from November, the new Cavalera Conspiracy album.
Thank you.
Which, by the way, I reviewed for another site, Metal Injection. So I reviewed the album for them, and it was easily 9.5 out of 10. Like, just a fucking killer album.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
I was curious as to, like, why you guys maybe didn't follow up that with a tour and decided to do this instead. Not that I'm bitching that Nailbomb's out, because this is like fucking bucket list shit, right? How often do you get to see Nailbomb? So just curious about if Cavalera Conspiracy might be getting a tour in the near future.
We're working on it right now because we haven't toured for Psychosis yet,
Yeah.
We really want to because I thought the album came out really good and a lot of people like it and got really cool reviews. I talked to Igor. Might be even cool to play the whole record, because Psychosis is such a cool record that I think we can play the whole thing entirely. And we never really done that before with a new record, play the whole thing like that. So for Cavalera, it might be cool, might work. But we have to wait till after the Nile tour. So I think it's going to be more like the summer,
right? Yeah,
summer kind of touring. But
so very busy.
We're definitely going to work on a and hopefully it'll be a cool package to, you know, like bring somebody with us to, so there's more excitement for the fans. You know, we done a couple packages last year that was really cool, like Return to Roots with Full of Hell and Immolation. That was amazing. We had a Soulfly with Suffocation.
Yeah.
Battle Cross. That was really good. And yeah, Abnormality was on it too.
Nice.
I love this kind of packages, you know. Reminds me a little bit of the New Titans on the Block, you know. Sepultura, Sega Reich, Napalm Death, Sick of It All, which was an amazing tour. And even the SOS, you know, Sepultura Sado's Obituary. It's cool. I like these packages, and there's a lot of bands that we can take that would be really cool, like Godflesh, I think will be really cool. You know, there's a lot of new bands I really like right now, like Genocide Pact and Gate Creeper and Nails.
Yeah, that
stuff.
Genocide Pact, it's a fucking amazing album.
It's cool, right? Yeah, I love those guys, man. They're great.
It's cool that you can take out, you know, like you guys have been around. You've been around for a long time, so you have these ties to, you know, all these legendary bands. But also you seem to connect with, you know, the younger bands that might have been influenced by you. So these cool packages putting together newer meets older. And
yeah, like Full of Hell was a perfect example. Like to me, it's kind of like where I see the future of metal moving into that kind of direction. You know, it's cool, like noisy and with a little bit of samplers. You know, and I like the last record a lot. Thought it was great. You know, and so it's yeah, and I see a lot of these bands doing all, you know, that has this kind of energy, like Gate Creeper and Genocide Pact and USA, and you know, a lot of you know, they're just it's so, to me as a fan, because I'm a fan of music, you know, regardless of how
long you've been doing this?
How long I've been doing and the classic records. In the end of the day, I'm just a metal fan, like a nerd metal. Like I still love finding bands and getting in touch with them, you know, and getting their shirts and wearing them and helping them out. I mean, that's the beauty of being a metalhead. You know, like, don't let that purity should stay. Don't let that purity ever die. You know. That
ever dies, and I think you're done.
You're in trouble, man. Yeah, get a different job.
Exactly, and you have the best job. So, now Point Blank dropped kind of at an interesting time in music. I think, you know, like '94, there were so many death metal bands that, you know, you had Sepultura doing death thrash, you had Napalm Death, Entombed, all these bands, and then the big labels started getting interested, and you had some of the bands getting signed up by the bigger labels. Was Nailbomb any, like, a kind of reaction to what was happening at the time in a way, like, were you like, fuck this, you know, things are getting a little too, I don't want to say corporate because it's not the right word, but was there kind of a need in you to bring some sort of do-it-yourself attitude back to metal at that time that might have been a bit lost?
Actually, it was an accident. You know, really, we didn't even know we were making a record first. I was just jamming with Alex for pure fun, boredom. Sepultura guys were in Brazil, and Alex he had just married Christina Gloria's daughter, and he was living in Phoenix, so we hang out a lot.
You were living there at the time too?
Yeah, so we hang out a lot, and during the day, he would come to my house, and we sit down with our guitars, and I would show him, you know, Sepultura thrash riffs, and he would show me Fudge Tunnel kind of riffs that I was really intrigued by. I love Hate Songs in E minor and stuff like that. It was so heavy, you know. And then he bought a sampler and started writing some patterns and stuff, and I started putting some of my riffs on top of it. It sounded really cool, but we still no idea we were making a record until Gloria came and walked by, heard some of it, and she's like, "I'm gonna get you guys a deal."
Nice.
And, we were just joking.
We're just fucking around.
Yeah, deal for what? There's nothing here. She's like, "No, there's something here." You know. Of course, she was right, like as always.
Yeah.
You know, so she got Roadrunner involved. We got a little bit of a budget, made interact, but the spirit of do it yourself never died on the whole record. Like we wrote everything by hand. It's whatever we wanted. There was no compromise. The whole record, you know, we even like took a joke on ourselves. We had um, the janitor guy of the studio talking shit about Nailbomb.
Oh yeah, that's a sound clip.
Yeah, we play some shit for him. He's like, "This is horrible."
That was real. That was straight up
That's a
real.
guy that heard it and didn't like it. It was a Scottish guy.
Were you sitting there,
And,
like cracking up? Were you like,
That's Alex. Alex got
oh yeah?
yeah. I just show up like, Alex, I gotta play you something. And he played. I was like, that's brilliant, dude.
Yeah.
That's awesome. You got the guy to talk shit about Nailbomb. That's awesome. It doesn't get any better than
No.
this.
Now, were you guys fans of each other prior to that? You said you knew about
Fudge Tunnel.
Yeah.
I love the whole Earache almost catalog. Godflesh,
Yeah.
Morbid Angel, Terrorizer, you know, Napalm Death,
Yeah.
Carcass, Entombed. I mean, Earache was king in my book, you know. And Digby used to come to our shows with like boxes of stuff, and it was like Christmas, you know. Like he gave us T-shirts and stuff. So out of the stuff, one of my favorite records was Hate Songs in A minor, which still is today. You know, I love. I like the older stuff. Creep Diets is really cool too.
Mm-hmm.
Then they got a little bit more metal, which was my influence. The Fertility of Something with the bald head guy in the cover was a little bit more like Sepultura influence, but still really cool. Alex is a great guitar player. Great guitar. I love his riffs. I really still today some of my favorite riffs are in Hate Songs in A minor.
And I've read before that he basically just took Sabbath songs, reversed them,
That's
slowed
what
them
he told
down,
me.
and
That's what he told me. I didn't
yeah.
believe it. Like, nah, you're full of shit, man. Your riffs are cool. You know?
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
not just doing Black Sabbath backwards. You're full of shit.
Yeah, definitely. Those are some awesome albums. Now, was he also a fan of Sepultura at the time? Or he had an interest in what you guys were doing?
well, Alex is a unique individual. Like, I used to call him Mr. Hate because he hated everything. But he did have a fondness for Sepultura and liked us a lot. And we took them on tour in Europe and America, you know, with Fear Factory and Clutch, which was a good tour. And we used to fuck with them a lot. Till the last show, Igor drew two huge dicks and put on the stage behind the drummer, you know, which was classic.
For a Fudge Tunnel set?
For Fudge Tunnel set,
Nice.
yeah. Yeah, and I remember the first couple shows they played with the back turns to the amps without even facing the crowd.
Wow.
And Gloria had to kind of go tell me, I think you guys should look at the crowd, you know. So that's how like new they were, you know. But yeah, Alex was cool, man. You know, in fact I credit him and Chaos AD as feedback advisor because he helped me with all the feedback.
That's amazing.
On Chaos AD, you know. We really like each other's stuff a lot. I was a big Fudge Tunnel fan. I always liked that stuff, you know. For me, those records were amazing. Real heavy and real intense. So it was really cool to hang out with him and make Nailbomb. And Nailbomb is actually kind of like our own wish that 9 Inch Nails or even Ministry were heavier. We liked it, but it was like always like, it's cool, but wouldn't it be cooler if it was heavier,
Just
man?
amp it up a
Just
notch.
like a little bit heavier. So we did Nailbomb with that kind of like. That's why there's always the samplers and stuff, you know.
I always thought it was perfect because the same way you just said, I always thought Ministry, I wish they were a little bit heavier. Then Fear Factor were just a little too heavy. So you needed somebody who was kind of
in the middle.
In the middle, yeah. Yeah, and I think Nailbomb kind of hit that, which was
I think
cool.
I think we did okay, and it was cool because it was very innocent approach. We weren't pros. Like Jorgensen is a pro, you know. He's a master of samplers and stuff like that. Or Trent, you know. We weren't. We were just kids.
No fucking idea.
Like had no idea. We're just learning. Like Alex got really good at the samplers and was sampling everything. It's even TV stuff like Hey, Is Reality. Don't you know God Hates? That's from a TV show like you know. Those Gerardo, you know, one of those.
Oh yeah, the talk shows.
He just got that on live TV, which was like amazing, you know, like so crazy. He got that, and then all the stuff we got it from movies like Henry the Portrait of a Serial Killer, Salvador, Apocalypse Now, stuff like that, you know. But On the record, we did a lot of sampling of the stuff, like Sonic Youth to Motorhead, Discharge. We had a big vinyl collection, and we would just put the vinyl on and sampler and then slow down until it's like unrecognizable.
Could you do that even this day and age?
Yeah, it's still possible. I mean, now more than ever. Like I was always thought of how would be to do a Nailbomb album today. I think it would be really cool because there's a lot more access today to the internet.
Yeah,
you can get a lot of stuff out of the internet, like sounds and shit. It'd be really cool.
That was actually my next question. I was going to say, like, say you and Alex hadn't crossed paths at all. Do you think there was something in you? Like, do you think, not necessarily Nailbomb, but do you think you would have done something similar to this? Was it in you to kind of get something out that you weren't getting out in Sepultura?
But I've always been like that, you know. I always kind of was not always totally satisfied with what I have. Always like, I got to do something else.
Yeah.
You know, that's why Killer BQ was formed. Even Cavalera, you know, was formed because of that reason, you know. But yeah, I mean, I think like I'm a full-on music passionate of music, like to take risks and do stuff like that, and still like I like to do in the future a heavier, more extreme kind of project. I like to do like maybe later, like even like a dub reggae metal project. Those are all kind of like bucket list type of things for the future, you know. But yeah, I think Nailbomb came at the right time. You know, it was cool. It was like it was done in the right time, and it came out of an accident, which is even cooler. We weren't even know we were making a record. So I think that's even something even cool about that. That was just like wasn't really
planned,
no
right?
master plan behind it. You know, it's really kind of like just it was just like we said in the poster, the bastard child of Max and Alex. You know.
Yeah.
Which I think kind of it is our bastard child. You know, it's cool.
So, if he called you tomorrow and said, dude, let's fucking do it. Let's go to the studio. First of all, would you do it?
I probably would, because I'm just, you know, you put ideas and stuff in front of me I can't refuse. I'm like, let's go.
You gotta
for
see it through.
I gotta do it, man. Now it's like, and you know, like I say, like even like today would have been really a cool age to do because with the electronics and you know, just the whole stuff. You can do a lot of stuff nowadays at home that you couldn't do
back then
20 years ago.
Yeah,
you know, with all the Pro Tools and electronics and stuff that we have now. And Alex is probably a lot better now than he was from all the studio experience that he has. He's a great producer now, you know, producing great records. It's not gonna happen, unfortunately, but it would have been cool. I definitely would be there. I'll be writing songs like right now.
Awesome. So one last question, and this is kind of saved the heavy one for last. When death comes knocking at Max Cavalera's door, this one's heavy, and death himself allows only one soundtrack, one album, to be played to sum up your life. Can't be a compilation album. Not allowed. What album would you choose as that soundtrack? I know it's almost impossible to answer, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But do you think there's one... I'm not necessarily saying it's Nailbomb or...
Yeah. I don't know. I like Chaos a lot. Chaos AD's definitely priority record, life-changing record for me. What I think is cool about Chaos is that we kind of discover that it's possible to entirely reinvent yourself. You know, really hard. It is really hard to do, and only a few bands can pull it out the right way. But I think Chaos show that you can do something. You can have records like Arise and Beneath, and then decided to do something totally different from that. Slow down, more punk, stripped down. More crazy ideas like recording in the castle and songs about Brazilian riots in jails and stuff like that. So it's a very special record. It's you know, opened up with my son's heartbeat was right when he was born.
Yeah.
Zion, you know, he's playing Soulfly now, so which
That's
is great.
amazing. Yeah. It's almost fitting, you know.
So yeah, I think that one is definitely close to the heart.
Cool. And I just want to say that you said that the punk sound of, you know, the more do-it-yourself sound of Chaos ID. I think Nailbomb kind of followed that up in a way. Like, you brought those ideas to Chaos ID, but not to the same spectrum as Nailbomb. But I feel like there's almost kind of a lineage between those two albums and a certain attitude that they share.
They were done a similar time, so yeah, for sure. You know, I mean, I'm still making records that I still use Nailbomb as example of how to write. Like, first idea is your best idea. Once something's good, don't fuck with it. You're gonna make it worse by trying to fix something that's already good. You know.
Yeah.
Which was what was cool about Nailbomb. Like, a lot of like Wasting Away was all the first riffs. It was the ones we kept. It like we didn't go back and try to make it better. You can. It's like, it's the simplicity that's cool. It's like almost like on that line, on the edge of cheesiness, but you don't.
But not quite there.
Don't quite get cheesy, but it's right on the line. You know, it's like really close.
You guys nailed it then.
We did it. You know, so I'm still applying the Nailbomb to a lot of the stuff I do. It's like Cavalera with like Hellfire. You know, it's a total Nailbomb kind of song with a drum machine and everything. You know. So I learned a lot from Nailbomb, which was cool. It's a simple record. It's a really obscure underground record that taught me a lot through the years.
That's cool that it's influenced you.
Forever.
And it's
forever, man. Yeah, it's great.
Very awesome. Thanks very much, man. I appreciate it.
Yep.
And I'm gonna be asking for territory tonight. Yeah.
Yeah. End of the show. Everybody scream and we play more.
Awesome. Cool. Thanks, guys. See ya.
All right.